name is Randy Grismer, and I'll be your moderator this evening. We want to make sure that we remind everybody in attendance that we are being filmed and streamed live by the Aberdeen American News on their website, as well as having members of other media represented, including Hub City Radio. Microphones are live and will be live for the duration of the event. All comments will be as aired and will not be edited. We will be starting the program as we start most of our programs with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would stand and join me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'd like to thank the Brown County Republicans for hosting this year's candidate forum and recognize the members of the Brown County Republicans Executive Committee who are present tonight. If you please stand. Jason Williams, who's chairman for Brown County Republicans. Judy Verkota, who is the vice chair. Jason Lutz, who's the secretary. And Dan Richard, who's our treasurer. And I'm not sure if these other folks are here, but if they're here, I'd ask them to stand as well. Bud Morris, who's our state committeeman. Is Bud here? No. Shar Cornelius, who is our state committee woman, and I know she's here somewhere. Thank you. And I'm not sure if I saw him, but if Dana Randall is here, he's our national committeeman. Let's give all of them a round of applause. We're also very pleased to have in the room many elected officials, including those that are present with me on stage. If there are any elected officials, city, county, state, township, in the audience, if you'd stand, raise your hand, and if we could recognize them. Thank you, gentlemen. On behalf of the Brown County Republicans, I want to introduce our candidates and thank them for spending their evening with us. To my right, Chris Nelson. Kristi Noem, and Blake Kerr. We do have some general housekeeping rules that I'll review for the folks in the audience and for our friends at home. This is a question and answer session, not a debate. Comments from any of the candidates and questions from the audience should always be respectful of the many differing views that are present on stage. Each candidate will have 5 minutes to begin with an introduction of themselves. Questions will be chosen at random from those previously submitted online. Members of the audience may ask a question. There are notepads at 2 stations behind the pillars at the back of the room. With pens, please write your questions down and bring them to the timekeeping table. They'll make sure that I get those. We'll answer as many questions as time permits. Priority is given to those that were submitted in advance, which I have with me here. We also want to make sure that any questions that are submitted are written in legible writing. I have a hard time reading. My grammar is pretty good. My interpretation skills leave a little to be desired. When phrasing questions, please know that all questions will be asked to every candidate and ask them to respond to every question. We will not be doing individual candidate questions. They'll be answering all of them. Please make sure that you ask questions only. Make sure that you keep your question as brief and to the point as possible. And I will be limiting comments on any single issue to 2 questions. So if I get more than 2 questions on the same topic, I'm going to have to skip it and go on to the next one. We're going to try wrapping up at around 7:15, and at that time when we do the candidates, we'll have 2 minutes to wrap up. At this point in time, candidates were selected at random to decide who would start with their 5-minute introduction, and we'll begin with Mr. Nelson. Absolutely.
Good evening, and thank you, folks, for coming out tonight and learning what you can about the candidates. I grew up on a farm ranch operation near White Lake, South Dakota, and growing up, I learned to appreciate agriculture. Went off to South Dakota State University, majored in animal science, and I had every intention of returning to the farm and ranch and making that my life profession. But as sometimes happens in life, one has other opportunities. And I got a job offer to work in state government, and for a number of years I worked in state government helping people across South Dakota. And in 2002,